And in fact, I think Buchi, I would love to get your thoughts. I think what Ruchir mentioned something very interesting, which is about the whole MVP. And I think I still remember our conversation, I think 2.5 years back was a very initial conversation where you mentioned that, look, what I'm building, I need to build a full end-to-end solution. Otherwise, my customers will, it will not solve the pain point for my customers. So especially in cybersecurity, and I think, and I know that you are obviously building systems for enterprise grade, how do you how do you go about speccing an MVP then? Because your resources are still finite. Yeah, a broad problem statement, but you still need to validate many hypotheses at the product level. And now here is a customer who's coming in and who's, look, this is what I need, and that's, man, like, this is going to take me 5 months, and it's a big punt. It's almost in a lot of cases a life and death kind of capital allocation question for an early stage startup. So how do you go about then speccing your MVP?
So I usually see it in, first of all, I think I would rephrase what you said, which is in customers not necessarily always demand end-to-end solutions or full solutions. Rather, they expect whatever features you give to be working correctly. So I think that a lot of people have that misunderstanding, and that I think I've figured it out in the beginning itself, and I tried to use that to our advantage. So the ruthless prioritization on the number of features and the kind of features, and which is the most important thing for the customer. That's the first step. And after that, there is also a lot of engineering magic that I personally have figured it out. This actually comes fortunately from my AppDynamics and this background, working on enterprise product, and especially going through the, I've seen AppDynamics grow from 300 to 2,500 people. And some of the learnings were like, engineering teams constantly learn, okay, last year we have done this, and we could have done it differently, and today the pain would have been much lesser, or we didn't need to reinvest. All of those learnings came in handy. So after you ruthlessly prioritize that feature, how do you make sure how do you hand off a feature that's working very reliably but may not be super feature rich? You can bring in lots of bells and whistles a little later. So I think that principle has helped us a lot. And if you see our product also, like some of the API security products claim 20 check boxes. And we said, no, we're not checking all of that. We don't have the resources, or the team is not that big. But if you just start doing several things, this in itself is very hard to do. So we stuck to customers in the discovery. We ask them, like, what do you care the most? What do you want? If I have to give only 1 or 2 features, what would that be? And we double down on those features, and that's how we kept our MVP. So MVP does not, there are several videos online, people just wrongly misinterpret it. Actually, oh, it could be scrappy, it could fail, it could only work half times. No, actually, security will not have that appetite. Especially when you're selling to enterprises, everything from you, they are looking and judging you, right, in deciding whether they want to transact with you, do business with you. And the reliability and the quality and how much care you are giving to it is going to be a big criteria in their mind. And anytime you don't check, that's the end of the story. Sometimes you don't even get the second opportunity. So you have to strike a right balance. So don't bloat with the features. Pick very few small number of features, but within that also try to keep it as minimal as possible. That has been our mantra, at least, and that has been working out pretty well. Still, there are more things to do, and we need to do better with respect to quality. A couple of public companies are our customers, so you can say that, okay, we have met some bar with the quality and all of that. We have done a decent job to actually earn them.
Yeah, it sounds like there is so it's a lot of art and science combined, right? Like I think a lot of these are judgment calls.
Yes, the engineering one is where, especially I've seen sometimes experience definitely comes in handy.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, like the first principles thinking, like put the right abstractions in place. It's like this 5 months or 6 months that you said sometimes, right? Like engineering, that art, like you said, that art and thinking from first principles standpoint, I've seen there are ways you might think it needs is 6 months, but you can actually do it in 1 month or even 2-3 weeks, very bare minimal. But you do it in such a way that when the customer is asking the next one, you actually do it incrementally. You don't have to throw it away, or you don't have to redo it.
Yeah.
That, I think it's a little hard to describe, but I have learned it over time with my experience, and I feel like that has been one of the strengths that was serving us really well.
And Ruchir, does that kind of resonate
Yeah.
with you? Because I know you were also a buyer of cybersecurity software at MPL, and we have spoken a lot about that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one key difference from other sectors could be that the buyer in most cases is somebody very similar to the seller, right? Like these are security professionals who understand what is being sold. So they know what is the core of the tech that they're buying, right? So they know what they're expecting out of us. Everything apart from it, right? Let's say user management or workspace management or these dashboards and stuff. They know anybody's going to be able to build them. So they're not going to judge you on those features. They're going to judge you on the core tech that they're buying. As long as you're very accurate and reliable on that tech, as Buchi was saying, they also realize everything else it can fail. It's fine. They can work with you to get those fixed or add more features, but you can't fail on that core offering that they're paying you for. So there you can't cut your corners and be like, oh, it's just an MVP.
I'll give a couple of more very tactical things from our experience, right? We closed a 6-figure deal. We didn't even have Okta, and we customers saw, like Ruchir pointed, the core. They saw that the core is good, and we said we will deliver Okta, and we put it in the contract. And we delivered like just a couple of months after they signed the contract and became customers. So I think it's also important from the company standpoint, especially in today's world, like, where there is a lot of competition and everybody's coming up. It is helpful for the startup to also bet on that core IP that is going to be a moat for you, for the lack of better word, and actually helps you focus on solving the most important problem. It's almost like in the operating system, kernel is the most important thing we say, right? You can keep on adding any number of packages that you want, but the kernel has to be correct. So I call it as a kernel of the product. So focus on that kernel and try to show that to the customers. And Ruchir is absolutely spot on. I have seen many people, they directly go to that, like, this is going to be the most important thing. Does it work or not? If it does not work, then I don't care. Like, dashboards anybody can build.
What I'm hearing is that I think it's also important then to listen to customers, very important, and to understand what their expectations are. And I think the importance of focus and being very sharp in terms of what you're offering as part of the product.